Greetings everyone, my name is Steele and welcome to Buried. This is an interactive story with a Telltale-esque element where our choices help mold the way the plot is driven. So you're not going to get any grandiose gameplay out of this. This is pure narration with good old-fashioned storytelling and photographic representation. So with that all being said, I do apologize in advance for any misreadings or misinterpretations of sentences that may occur as I go through this. So to give you guys a quick synopsis on what's going on here, we play as a logger who is out in the middle of the forest with his crew doing what they do best until he somehow gets knocked out. When he comes to, he finds out that the entire crew that he was with has mysteriously vanished. And now he's taking it upon himself not only to find out what happened to them, but what caused this strange phenomenon to begin with. I open my eyes and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful, except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened. And my head. My God, my head hurts. And a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat had been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of the crew. They could be in danger. Alright, so do we search for the hard hat, or do we forget the hat and search for the crew? Well, considering that we're surrounded by a bunch of loose timber, I'm going to play the safety game and go searching for the hard hat, because we got to protect the old noodle. I get up on shaky legs and look around for a moment. A few nearby trees look to have been splintered and broken at the base recently. They certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like maybe there isn't something wrong here. I see it behind a fallen log about 10 feet away from me. How it was thrown so far is beyond me. Driven by nothing more than habit, I walk over to it, pick it up, and place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site, and I don't like what I see. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned, the trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief, but it also makes me fearful because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. But just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Look at debris or look at the truck. Well, considering that the truck is the most important thing in this area other than ourselves, let's take a look at that and see what's up with it. The truck. The hitch is completely broken like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion, all of the fuel on site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open and indicated that he had been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters, the reception is crap out here. Well, if we're running low on juice, we may as well save it in case we really need it in an emergency. So, may as well just yell out, but I'm worried that this could make our presence known to whatever's out here. Granted, if there are any of our crewmates out here, then that's a good thing, but we don't know what the hell's going on. So it's a risk regardless. Hey guys, where is everyone? Tony? Dennis? Frank? Joe? But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring away a few birds overhead. Might as well start walking and try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we use to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them, but with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My God, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that? underneath the bulldozer. Oh my god. It's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. Yeah, if it's one of our crewmates and he could potentially be alive, we gotta go find out. Let's go look. Hey! I yell. Are you okay? Are you alive? Holding onto my hat, I skip over the wrecked equipment and stray logs to get closer. I can see a bit more of the leg. The jeans are soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent at an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. Leave the body alone or pull the body out? No, we gotta pull the body out. We can't just leave him there crushed under the equipment. That's disrespectful. I try to pull him out, but he's just not budging. That's when I see the blood coating the ground under him. It's thick and fresh, so dark on the dirt that it looks black. As I'm tugging, I hear something crunch, but I somehow manage to pull him out. His legs are absolutely crushed and his stomach looks deflated. Blood is covering everything from the navel down. His face was turned to the right when he was crushed. It looks like a broken plastic mask, seeping with blood and bits of shattered skull. My God, I can't believe this. I have to turn away. That's when I hear a deafening creaking noise, and I'm bashed in the head from behind as the bulldozer shifts lower to the ground. I roll clear and end up on my back, my eyes struggling to focus. I'm a little shaken up, but I'm fine. Thank God I was wearing my hard hat. I quickly get up and dust myself off. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week or so of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy and there's a smell like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it, I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the what? Accident? Or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless, about 30 feet away. Yell out or walk up to him? Now let's walk up to him, because if he's alive, I mean, the only thing close to human contact we got so far. He's just sitting there, not moving. I walk up slowly next to him. Dennis? Hey man, can you hear me? I tap him on the shoulder. He looked up at me from the ground, clearly coming out of a daze. Yeah, Roger, I hear you, he says. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has a tough personality to match. But in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usual confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on? He asks. Don't know, the crew is missing? An explosion, I think. Yeah, let's tell him about the crew, because if he's disoriented and not in his right mind, he probably doesn't even know that he's not surrounded by anyone other than me. Missing, Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned. The dozers, too, I say, shifting my hard hat and wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight the night before. But I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he's played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has a right to know. Don't mention Tony. Tony is dead. Yeah, we have to let him know, because if we don't, he's gonna end up getting up and be like, hey, we gotta search for Tony. And we'll be like, yeah, forgot to mention this earlier, but... He has the right to know. You were upfront with Dennis about Tony. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says, and I can tell that he's fighting back tears. He and Tony have been tight, almost like brothers. "Hey," he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. "Did you see that light?" "No," I say. "What did you see?" "I don't even know, Roger," he says. "It was like this flare of white light. It came right up out of the ground, like an explosion." "So there was an explosion," I say. "Maybe it was some equipment, or..." "This was no equipment," Dennis interrupts, agitated. "This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground." "What did it look like?" "I don't know, Roger. It looked like a giant white light exploded from out of the ground. What the fuck do you think?" "Where did it go?" That's a more prominent question we should be asking. "It just shot up into the sky until it was out of sight." "When?" "I'm not sure," he answers, "but I had finished about 10 trees for the day and was about to top one. That's when it happened." "You were almost done with 10 trees?" I asked. "Yeah," he says, looking at the ground. "You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when that light blew up. Why? You don't believe me?" "I believe you. I think you're exaggerating." But hold on here. Because before we went to the work area Dennis was at, and it said that he only toppled 4 trees. His lunchbox was open, which indicated he took an early break. But he's saying he took down 10 trees, and he didn't take a break. Something's not adding up here. I mean, I want to believe him. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. That just seems really, really over-exaggerated. I don't know. But, I mean, he's the one that said he saw the light, so I guess I got to believe him. You believe Dennis's story. He saw what he saw, I think to myself, and has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? "Yeah, I'm fine," he says, "but if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here." We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. "How did you get that injury? Are you in a lot of pain?" I should ask him if he's in a lot of pain. "I've been better. I don't know how much longer I can stay on my feet," he says. "What happened?" I asked. "I'm not sure," Dennis replies. "I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light." It's then that I notice that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. "Hey," I say, stopping. "Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while?" Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he just nods. "I thought it was just me," he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. "We'll be okay, it's probably nothing." Hell no, it is freaking me the fuck out, yo. I'm sure I sounded scared, but I don't really care. I looked at Dennis and see that my confusion and fear have seeped into him. And is that disappointment in his expression as well? I think so. It's as if he expects me to be stronger, to assure him that we're fine and nothing out of the ordinary is happening. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. "Did you try to call Frank?" Dennis asks. I know he had his cell phone on him today. "Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. I pull up myself and call Frank, happy I didn't make that call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. But then I hear his phone go off behind the stack of logs. Dennis and I give each other a look. As the phone goes to voicemail, I hang up, and we walk behind the log to find Frank's phone on the ground, abandoned. We look around for Frank and find nothing, not a single trace. It's then that I notice something really odd, a 10-foot wide hole in the ground right near where the phone was. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth, wide but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. "This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground," he muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. "We need to get out of here," Dennis mutters. At that moment, that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on where we might not be safe here. But that ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of that crew went. No, let's check out that sound. Agreed, let's get away from here. Let's see. I do kind of want to check out the sound, because it is weird that this thing has been emitting since this whole accident occurred. But at the same time, if Dennis is the only one that actually saw this light, then he must have, like, a good sense of how dangerous the situation might be. But it's also kind of interesting that he sees this hole similar to the one that the light came out of. I think he knows more than he's letting on, but I kind of want to check out the sound. So we're going to go do that. You decided to check out the sound. Something's not right, I say, and if there's a mechanical noise like that, you think someone is out here? He asks. Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be right here, waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be trouncing around the forest. But we need some answers right away, too. Ooh, do we leave Dennis here or bring Dennis with you? I mean, given his wound, the last thing I need is for him to suffer excessive blood loss, become woozy, and then passing out in the middle of the forest. And if he's big as he's described, I don't think we're going to be able to lug him around with us. So I think best to leave him here and have him tend to his wounds, if he can. You decide to leave Dennis behind. Okay, I'll go alone, I say. You stay here and try to hang on. I'll try and find someone, anyone. I give Dennis a final look, sensing that this could be a big mistake. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. I turn away and start moving through the woods quickly. With Dennis all alone, I need to find the crew and get help right away. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and can find my way around the woods without much of a problem, but I'm starting to feel a little disoriented. I'm leaning against a tree when I see something that has no business being here. Our logging crew has been out here for 3 weeks, and it seems impossible that we could have missed it. Wondered if I just made a mistake. Probably should have brought Dennis with me. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion also make it look sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. Part of me wants to go back for Dennis. Seeing this eerie building in the middle of nowhere makes me yearn for company. It makes me feel like a little kid that is spooked of that old abandoned house at the end of the street. Plus that ringing noise that happens every once in a while, I think it's coming from this building. I'm racking my brain trying to remember if I've seen this before. But I haven't. I'm sure of it. It has never been here until now. Is Frank in there? Or Joe? They can't be, but then again, they aren't anywhere out here. Looking inside the building is certainly more appealing than walking through the woods for a mile with an aching knee. I find them a little scared when I take my first step toward the building. The first thing I see is a sturdy metal door, closed shut. Do we knock or do we force it open? Well, knocking could, again, make our presence known. And if this thing has not been here before, I mean, where the hell did it come from? Buildings don't just pop up out of the ground. So I say we just force it open. Hopefully it won't make a noise. I set my feet and get ready to push my way in. After holding my breath, I put my hand on the handle and thrust my shoulder into the door. But I immediately realized this wasn't necessary. The door opens easily, even though there is a lock that clicks as it opens. After catching myself, I turn to look at the lock. For some reason, it appears to lock from the outside. Is someone trying to keep someone from leaving? Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, I hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confining at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a long corridor. It's a massive corridor, in fact. Like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is quite dark, it lit only by emergency lights spread every 10 feet or so. I assume I'm now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the limits of the building I entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding me here. Walk quickly or tiptoe quietly. Oh, we're gonna be a ninja about this, that's for damn sure. We're gonna tiptoe through the window, by the window. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. I move slowly, my feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear me. I tiptoe forward as softly as I can. Just coming into view at the end of the hallway is another set of concrete stairs leading further down into the depths of the earth. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often, coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead to the concrete stairs, wondering just how far down they go. I approach the stairs, and as I take my first steps down, I get the sense that I'm crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damn ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking it down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. As I keep moving down the stairs, my mind seems to lock into the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married and I've met his wife a few times, a nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never again get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he has been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Out here in the woods, regardless of their backgrounds or ages, I'm responsible for them. Whether frequenting the local bar after a long day or while away from their families on this risky job, I'm responsible for them. Maybe I can still find them and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. I slowly stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. I'm closer to the source of the ringing noise now. Wait, we? It's just me. Must be a typo. The door sits securely in the wall and looks just out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says Level 1 Entrance Gate Transport Sector, and there's a button with no label. Expect the panel? Push the button. Let's push the button. I give the button a push. One of the readings on the panel flickers to life. Outage. That's all it says, and then it goes dark. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind. Each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off, but one of the phrases has a slowly blinking red light next to it. The only powered light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open and more light pours in as I walk through. As I do, that ringing or beeping or whatever the hell it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind me with a click. At this moment, I can't help but think about Dennis back up on the surface. What is going on up there? Why did that bulldozer turn over? What was it that knocked us out? I hope I haven't left him in a dangerous situation. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise, and it had just become background noise. I take a few more steps and can now see where I am. It makes no sense, yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. Ooh, end of chapter 1. Interesting. I wonder what we just discovered. Oh, so I see. So they're taking our choices and tallying it against the majority of people that play this. That's really cool. So it is kind of like Telltales. I like that. Respect the dead. You and 64% of players pulled Tony's body out from under the bulldozer. Secrets. You and 76% of players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. Trust. You and 55% of players told Dennis you believed his story. Curiosity. You and 75% of players went to investigate the ringing sound. Teamwork. You and 36% of players decided to leave Dennis behind. Ooh, so I was definitely in the minority on that one. The trust thing was pretty much down the middle. But, again, like my reasoning was that he's injured and blood is seeping through his shirt. It didn't describe how big the wound was. I mean, granted, a blood pattern can get pretty wide if it's allowed to seep for an excessive amount of time, so it can look like it's far worse than it really is. but I don't want to risk him going down those stairs with me and then having it read Dennis started to get woozy and then fell down the stairs and broke his neck. And whoopsie, there goes crew member number 2 that's dead. So I figured leave him behind, let him rest, let him gather himself, let him regain his strength, and then hopefully at some point he can regroup with me. I hope. I'd hate to think that I actually left him and then find out, we go back to where he was and he's dead, like eviscerated or whatever. God knows what the hell's going on here. But this is interesting. I like the way this is written. I like the use of the pictures as well, because most of these narrative style games, they have someone paint up imagery for them and use artwork to depict the environment or sort of showcase the situation and what's going on. But I like the way they used actual photography to get the point across and to give you an idea of where you are and what the scenery is and what's actually happening around you. It's a really clever tactic. So, Chapter 2, I don't know where the hell we're going to go with this, but things are getting creepy. The way they use that noise in the background, too, that ambient sound, it really helps set the tone. I'm really enjoying this. I like these narrative style games. But anyway, I'm going to pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then throw some upon that like button. Keep playing it awesome, and I will see you all on my next adventure.